The call came just after sunrise, a number I didn't recognize, a voice I did. "Mr. Hale, there seems to be an issue with the mortgage transfer you authorized yesterday. The $780,000 deposit hit your wife's account at 6:12 p.m. We need confirmation on—" I ended the call. I didn't need confirmation. I needed silence. The morning light cut across the empty apartment I had slept in, my brother's place. A mattress on the floor, a duffel bag, my wallet. Nothing else. I stared at the wall as if it could explain how an entire life could collapse in a single dinner. Her voice replayed with surgical clarity. "Leave your keys and get out." Just like that. As if the 21 years we spent building that house meant nothing. As if I were a tenant whose lease she'd grown tired of renewing. Her mother's nod had been the final punctuation. Sharp, rehearsed, predictable. I didn't argue. I placed the keys on the table, and I walked out as quietly as they wanted. Now the mortgage company had called her, not me, and for the first time since last night, I let myself exhale. They thought they had taken everything. They had no idea what they had already handed me. A trail, a motive, and a reason to finish what I started months ago, long before they believed I knew anything at all. I pressed my thumb against the phone screen. It was time. Betrayal never announces itself. It drips in slowly. A quiet change in breathing. A message turned face down. A sudden interest in late-night grocery runs. I'd seen it all, long before she believed I could. It had started with laughter, hers, too light, too free, the kind you reserve for someone you want to impress, not someone you've already vowed to love. Then the weekend trips with her mother, the whispered calls behind closed doors, the sudden insistence that we needed space, even though she had always clung to closeness like it was oxygen. I didn't accuse her. I didn't even flinch. Instead, I observed. The new perfume she claimed was a free sample. The receipts she swore weren't hers. The hotel reservation she explained as a glitch. Every lie was a thread, and I collected them, calmly, quietly, like a man preparing an autopsy of his own marriage. The moment that shifted everything happened 3 months ago. She came home glowing, hair messy, shirt buttoned wrong. She said traffic delayed her. I said nothing, but my stomach tightened around the truth. She was seeing someone close, someone confident enough to believe I posed no threat. I didn't know who it was then, but betrayal has a way of growing bold, reckless. And last week, I found the message she forgot to delete. "He still thinks the house is ours. Don't worry, once the transfer goes through, he's out." Sent by her. Liked by him. A name I recognized instantly. Her new husband. A man she hadn't even introduced to me yet. They planned to take the house. My savings. My stability. She thought I was blind. No, I was patient. Investigation is easy when no one suspects you're capable of it. I began with the mortgage. Every document. Every email. Every authorization. I knew exactly what she was planning to take, so I let her. I wanted her confidence, her certainty, her arrogance. It was the only way to make the truth hit with the right kind of weight. I started tracking their movements, not physically, digitally. The hotel check-ins, the credit card overlaps, the late-night rideshare routes that began at my house and ended anywhere but home. Her mother was involved too. Coordinating, encouraging, pushing. They needed my signature for the transfer. They believed I was clueless enough to give it. I signed. I smiled, and I quietly shifted all legal ownership of the house one level deeper, toward a trust they didn't know existed, created under my name months ago when I first sensed something was wrong. The trust owned the property, not me. Not her, not the man she thought would replace me. The transfer she celebrated was meaningless, a transaction to an account she couldn't access, money she would never touch. The mortgage company would call her, confused, alarmed, and she would realize something was terribly wrong. I waited for that moment. I wanted it to hit her before I walked back into that house for the last time. And at 8:14 a.m., my phone buzzed again. Her name. Calling. I let it ring until it died. Not yet. Let the panic grow. Let the truth simmer beneath her skin. Because when I returned, I wanted her fully aware of the catastrophe unraveling in her hands. Her new husband, her mother, all of them. They needed to be present. When I walked into the house, they were already waiting. Her mother, him. 3 faces lined with confusion, then fear. She held her phone out, eyes wide, voice trembling. Why is the mortgage company calling me? Why is the transfer frozen? What did you do? I stepped past her and set a folder on the table. The same table where she'd told me to leave my keys. Inside were documents, trust papers, ownership details, a timeline that began 3 months before her affair. Her new husband opened it, his face drained. This says the house doesn't belong to her. I nodded. It never did. My wife grabbed the papers, scanning them with frantic eyes. This can't be real. You signed the transfer. I signed what you thought mattered, I replied quietly. Her mother spoke next, voice cracking. You tricked us. No, I corrected. I protected myself. Silence grew thick between us, heavy, suffocating. Then I placed my old house key on the table again. Not as surrender, as closure. I lifted my eyes to her. She couldn't meet them. Why, she whispered, why would you do this? Because you already decided I didn't belong here, I said. I just agreed. Her new husband stepped forward, angry, desperate. You ruined everything. No, I replied. You ruined your own life when you assumed I wouldn't see you. I slid one more document across the table. He picked it up. His hands shook. It wasn't about the house. It never was. It was a record of every hotel he visited with her. Every night she wasn't where she claimed. Every message she hid. He stared at her, betrayal crashing into betrayal. You told me he was clueless, he hissed. She froze, color draining from her face. I didn't smile. I didn't gloat. I simply watched their world collapse with quiet clarity. When she tried to speak, I raised a hand. No more explanations. No more lies. Her voice cracked. You're leaving? I already did. I walked toward the door. The house felt unfamiliar now, like a museum of someone else's life, a life I no longer wanted. As I stepped outside, morning air hit me with clean finality. Behind me, arguments erupted, accusations, denials, panic. None of it belonged to me anymore. I didn't take the house. I didn't take the money. I didn't take revenge. I simply returned the truth to its rightful owners. My phone buzzed again, her name flashing across the screen. I turned it off. Some endings don't require noise, only distance. And as I walked down the driveway, I realized something simple, quiet, and absolute. They hadn't pushed me out. I had already outgrown them. And that was the real punishment.